Hi, in today's lecture, I will be focusing on the following topics. Firstly, there will be a discussion on the introduction of digital communication, which will be followed by topics relevant to data conversion involving some subtopics which are related to sampling, quantization, coding. And in the last, I will be discussing analog to digital and digital to analog conversion along with their converters. So, as we all know that in the early 70s, 1970s, most of the communication was analog, but after that, the communication, the data which was previously represented as analog data and analog signal, the fashion was changed and digital methods came into the world and all the digital communication relevant techniques are transformed to digital relevant techniques. While the radio communication was remained as analog and it is an analog communication nowadays as well, we all know that digital circuits provide us with a fast processing of the signals. So it was a better approach to convert any analog signal, any analog information signal into digital signal and then do the digital processing from the digital circuits and then change back that digital signal into analog signal, and that is what being done in the digital processing, which is very much effective and it is cost effective as well, and it is very much practical, and, and that's why it was employed. And we all know that the data is representing the information which is to be communicated from the transmitter to the receiver, and whenever we want to use computer for that purpose within the communication system, we have to use the information which is in digital form. So for that reason, any voice information, video, or any kind of information is represented, is converted into the digital form, and then it is being fed to the computer, which stores that information in digital form in its memory and does some mathematical calculations, the mathematical interpretations, and then revert back that information into analog form. So that's why it is being termed as the digital communication, this all process, which is basically communication of digital, the information in the digital form. And the digital communication in its most initial stage was only focused on direct from one computer to another computer communication of information, and later on it was transformed to broadband methods. And for that purpose of transmitting information from one computer to another computer, there were some different networks which were being formed, which can be a LAN network, WAN network, and from which the information is communicated from one computer to another computer. Uh, if we discuss about the reasons for the increase in digital communication system, then there were some three reasons behind that. The first one was the increased use of computers, because computers can perform the operations in a more concise manner and at a very fast rate than humans, then analog circuits which were previously doing the uh, uh, necessary changes in the analog signal to provide the requisite result, when they were being replaced by the computers, then the result increased in a very efficient way. And that's the first reason why we focused on digital communication rather than analog communication, because the computers have shared the burden with humans, and they do the work in a more cost effective manner than analog circuits, and provide us accurate results. Second major reason for use of digital communication system was that it provides some major benefits over the analog communication system. And these benefits will be discussed later in the later slides. And I can discuss over here one advantage of digital transmission over analog, that there are error correction and error detection codes in digital transmission which are not present in analog communication. In this way, we can detect the information at the receiver, we can detect the error over there, and then we can correct it. And the third reason is that we have the telephone system, which is the public switch telephone network, which is employed all over the world. And it is the most widely used communication system, and it is being also converted from analog to digital over the years. That's why we have we were forced to have applications which can be operated based on digital communication system, because in the backbone the public switch telephone network was all converted from analog to digital. Due to the increase in the use of computers, the data communication techniques were changed, and in those we can do a file transfer from one computer to another computer. A mail can be shared via the internet, and we have different communication links from the computer which are the peripheral links, and these can be a wireless printer, wide printer, by which we give a command from a computer into the network with which the printer is connected to print a file. And the internet is a hybrid kind of network, which is an example of the biggest data communication, the most complex data communication system with reference to computers. And all the networks which are used for communication can be local area networks, can be metropolitan area networks, or can be wide area networks. And here in this slide there are listed some examples of digital communication which are of non-computer examples, in which we can see TV remote by which we can control a TV, we can open a garage gate, we can have communication of information with the power wires which can be carrier current control communication, and we can control any model wirelessly with this digital communication. And we can have uh, remote keyless entry, and these kind of all examples and benefits of non-computer uses of digital communication. Now, there are some benefits of digital communication, as digital is being termed as the communication, digital communication which involves computer in itself, and it has some major benefits. The first one is the noise immunity, that we have only two kind of amplitudes in the digital signals, as they are represented by binary numbers which are 0 1, and they represent only two levels. So they are immune to noise, because in those cases we if the noise is interacted on some of the voltage levels which can be 0 and 1 pulse train, then we just have to see either the wave is transmitted or not, and in that case the noise, the immunity is being within the signal, and the noise cannot create problems for the signal, and just we have to know that either the signal is communicated or not. And second, the benefit of digital communication was its error detection and error correction capability, because if a transmitter sends a pulse train which is representing some binary information of 0 1 from transmitter to receiver, the receiver just have to see either there is an error in the communication, and if it detects an error, it asks again the transmitter to resend the signal, and in that case an error can be detected on the receiver side, and it asks the transmitter to resend the information, which resends it, or it can detect the error, or it can correct by itself doing some mathematical interpolation. And when you will study digital communication, in those you will see the source coding as well as the channel coding algorithms, in which the primary purpose is to secure the information, the digital communication information. And for that reason we can send some extra bits of data which can secure our information, which will be dealt upon by us during our study of the subject of the digital communication. And the third benefit of digital communication was its suitability with time division multiplexing, because it involves many transmitters and it transforms their signal into a one composite signal by the time division multiplexer, and it gives a small amount of time to all the transmitters which are connected to it to send their signal, and then to form a composite one signal which can be sent via the baseband methods of communication or broadband methods of communication. And the digital signal is very much suitable and compatible with the time division multiplexing. So this was the third benefit of the digital communication. And we have the fourth benefit is that we have the integrated circuits which represented hundreds and thousands of the transmitter and the receivers, and we can have some linear integrated circuits which can be analog integrated circuits, and we have digital integrated circuits which are smaller than those IC, which are the linear ICs, the analog ICs, but they are smaller, so they are more complex, but they provide a great processing capability. And the fifth advantage is the digital signal processing, which I told in the previous slides, that it is a kind of processing the analog signal by the digital methods. And we have digital processing circuits which have the greater digital processing capability, and which process the analog signal transformed into digital at a very fast rate, and provides us with filtration, equalization, phase shifting, mixing, and other kind of uh, necessary works which were needed with reference to processing of the analog signal. So digital signal processing is basically the processing of the analog signal by the digital methods. Here there are some disadvantages of the digital communication. The first one is that it has a more bandwidth which is being consumed. As we have an analog signal, the bandwidth of that, when that analog signal is converted into a digital signal, the bandwidth of analog signal will be small, while its equivalent digital signal will be large. So that is one disadvantage. Second disadvantage is that the circuits which are doing the processing of the digital signals, the digital circuits which are providing with high processing and fast processing, but they are small circuits and they are more complex than large analog circuits. So that is the second disadvantage. Now we have another topic which is about the data conversion, and we all know that for the digital communication the first step is to convert the data from the analog to digital form, and then the data is being stored or being processed by the computer, and then it is again converted back from from the digital to analog form. So this is what is being done over here. Then we have devices which are used for converting an analog signal into digital signal, are the analog to digital converters, and this process is called analog to digital operation. And then again the devices which are used to convert the digital signal into the analog signal are called the digital to analog converters, also being referred as decoders, and this process is called digital to analog operation. And in this figure we can see that we have three operations: sampling, quantization, and coding, which are being explained in this diagram. You can see that we have a graph. In this graph we have the x-axis, which is the time domain, and the y-axis, which is the amplitude domain, and we have an analog signal. And if you can see that when we discretize that signal with reference to time, as you can see the dotted lines in the time domain, then it is called as sampling operation. And when it is the y-axis, which is the amplitude domain, when it is discretized with the selected signal samples on the analog signal of the which were also used for time, then the discretization in the amplitude domain is called as quantization. And when we have those spots which are discretized by time and discretized with amplitude of the analog signal, which the dots you can see over here, these are the dots. These dots are then being coded by a coder. Here you can see a 4-bit coder has been used over here, and this sample is when communicated, then instead of when we are sending this sample, then we are sending this digital information which will be representing this sample over here. So discretization in the time domain is sampling, discretization in the amplitude domain is quantization, and then giving names of binary codes to those points which are the discrete points on the signal is called the coding over there. So here you can see that the slide is telling us about the analog to digital converters. We have the analog signal, which is a kind of smooth signal, which is a continuous signal, and the analog to digital conversion is the process of converting that continuous signal into binary numbers. And then this analog to digital conversion process involves the sampling, quantization, and coding, which were explained in the previous figure over there. So over here you have we can see that if we want to retain the frequency of the analog signal, because once it is converted into digital numbers, from those digital numbers we have to um, uh, change those digital numbers into the original analog signal with the same frequency from which it is converted into digital numbers. For that reason, we have to do one most important thing, which is that we can use the sampling frequency, which is the twice the highest analog frequency of the original signal. So if an analog signal has a frequency of FM, and then we have to use the sampling frequency, which is Fs, twice Fm. So we have Fs is equal to 2 Fm, which is the Nyquist theorem, and which is the Nyquist frequency. And in practical applications, we use 2.5 to 3 times of the original modulating frequency of the analog signal, and we use that sampling frequency, and that will be the minimum Nyquist frequency. So we see that in the analog signal we have infinite amplitude levels of the voltage, while when we convert that analog signal into digital signal, the infinite voltage levels are being transformed into finite voltage levels. So that is the difference between the analog and the digital signal. There are many ways to convert an analog signal to digital signal, and the most common of those are sample and hold circuit and the flash converter. So this slide is telling us about the digital to analog conversion. We see once the signal, which is the analog signal, is converted into a digital number, those binary numbers are to be stored into some memory of the computer, which is termed as random access memory, and then these samples are being processed, and some mathematical interpolation and manipulation are being done on that digital data which was stored in the memory, and from that digital data we recover the original analog signal. So digital to analog converter uh, inputs the binary numbers and outputs the analog voltage which was near to the original voltage. So in this figure you can see over here that we have the red signal, which is the analog signal, which is recovered from the binary codes which are being received by the digital to analog converter. On the left hand side, these codes were received, and from these codes, these green lines detected the analog signal, and when this waveform, which is the pulse train in the green form represented, when we have a staircase filter is being used with this waveform, and it is this waveform is input to the staircase filter, then we uh, uh, recover the original analog signal. So this is the how the digital to analog conversion process happens, and digital to analog converter recovers from the binary information the original analog signal. So here we have to keep one important aspect into mind, which is the aliasing effect, that if the sampling frequency is not high enough, the aliasing will occur. For example, we have seen in the previous slide that the Nyquist frequency has to be twice the FM frequency, but if it is smaller than the sampling frequency, then aliasing will occur, and it will be creating a new signal whose frequency is Fs minus Fm. So we have to keep that thing in mind, that whenever we are doing the sampling operation, we have to obey the Nyquist rule, which is the fs, which is the sampling frequency, has to be smaller than or equal to the multiple of 2 of the fm frequency. Otherwise there will be aliasing signal which will be not the same signal which is the original signal, and for that reason we use an aliasing filter in between the modulating information signal source and the A to D converter, and this in anti-aliasing filter outputs the signal which is exactly uh, one the frequency, and it ensures that no signal with the frequency greater than one half the sampling frequency is passed, and but that kind of filter has to be a good selectivity filter. We have various methods of converting digital signals into analog signals, and for that purpose there are some most popular circuits which are R2R ladder circuit, the spring and the weighted current source converters. You can Google these circuits, you can see that from the book, and you can have a greater understanding of the A to D and the D to A converter circuits. Thank you very much.